Welcome. The topic of this video is how to install ArcoLinuxD. Now, you can either boot up on a PC that's a bit older and that has a BIOS setting, and there's also a newer one that has a UEFI setting. Let's include the look of both of them in this video, so it applies to all videos, all Linux systems really. This is the old computer, right? And let's go in that first. So normally 99% will just take for line number 1, just here press enter, right? But there is hardware out there that's not working too well with Linux, and you have here a few lines to try out. But even so, this is just a few of them. You can change them and add them with a tab. You can actually look at all the code that's behind here, boot this and that and that. And then later on we say here Radeon mode set 0. So the first one is Nouveau mode set 1. But I've seen things on our forum, so always a good thing to take a look at what people discovered, how to boot up system X, then type this and that behind it, because you can actually type here and then, well, prevent the Linux kernel to do something, and then you boot up. So it's good to know that there are alternatives for your particular problem, right? But normally everybody just clicks this thing here. Now I'm gonna show you, this is a system on VirtualBox, so I'm gonna show you also the look from UEFI, and we can what is it again, system, we can enable EFI or UEFI special OSs only, and we can fake it on VirtualBox, and we recommend you use VirtualBox. And that's this line. We don't have alternatives here, and he's already booted up the loser. So Control R, reset it. So click in the VirtualBox, Control R, and then you need to navigate to the top. The top line is where you boot up in UEFI. It says so, ArcoLinuxD x86-64 UEFI CD, right? USB or ISO, and then that's where we boot up. So let's go with a UEFI installation. It doesn't really matter. ArcoLinux can do both of them. So ArcoLinux ISO, go and have a look for the the BIOS installation. And this one is then a UEFI installation. You choose, when you plug in your USB, you choose the lines you get to boot up from. You can choose grub. In my case, I can choose, I always say that it's wrong. I can choose BIOS, or I can choose UEFI, right? So I have the choice on my system. Like I've set it that way in my, the motherboard settings, and maybe you can too, right? Now ArcoLinuxD is a minimal kind of approach. There is no menu, right? There is just a nice wallpaper. There's a panel down here, some icons, but basically the menu is missing, and the right mouse click is the only thing you can have to maybe navigate to certain parts of your system, like the ArcoLinuxD tool, the welcome app, install ArcoLinux, so the same button or the same application as a run Calamares, right? So some things are in here that might help you to have a look, but basically you pass through here. This is not meant to be doing anything, just two options, major options. Either you decide to clean everything up and make sure the system is really cleaned out, no encrypted things, no partitions leftovers from any other distro out there, and I mean really any distro, meaning also Windows and etc. If it's more complex, your situation, then of course you have to make your own choices there, but my choice would be, as always, one operating system on one SSD, and I have a bay for desktop people. There are bays you can buy, pop in an SSD, put it out, pull it in, and then put it back in, and play Windows games, right? And then pull it out again and play work on your Linux system. So it's a choice, and choices are there. Well, it's up to you, entirely up to you. But best thing is make sure everything is cleaned out. If it is, then I would go for the next button. That's run Calamares. There is something that's changed, maybe you've noticed, and that's one little thing, and that's this little sign ugly little thing that says a question mark. Well, you need to have some knowledge on Linux and Linux tools, and Xcursor Breeze and Breeze are two packages that actually provide the same cursor. Now we've thrown out Breeze because of lots of the dependencies that came in. Now I don't care about dependencies, I don't mind in the sense that we have gigabytes enough normally, right? But all the updates came with it as well, and that's a little bit over the top. So Xcursor Breeze is out, Breeze is out because of the fact that they always collide and users always say it doesn't work. Well, it's normal that it doesn't work because they conflict. So we have a information panel here that's gonna help you in the choices later on, and we'll go over them as well here. So run Calamares is install your system. Calamares is a free installer, doesn't cost us anything, and it gives us great support. And Adriaan de Groot, his name is here, is helping us very, very much. So we're grateful, and we use this tool to get ArcoLinux in your system, and 15 minutes later you won't see Calamares at all. All right, let's go into the details. So we have changed a lot since last time, but you know already this kind of look that you select elements, and if the internet is working, that's important. If the internet is working, then you'll get the new stuff in. So when we build the ISO, there is a certain number, right? We have a certain Linux kernel. But in a month from now, or 2 months from now, or even a week from now, we'll have a Arch 2. We have already a system on our systems, number 2 here, right? So a new kernel. So if you want to have the very, very last kernel, then you take this one. And so on. You can decide what to have. Zen kernel, hardened kernel, LTS kernel. You decide on the fly. If you got internet, it's there. NVIDIA with Linux kernel, NVIDIA LTS, right? If you chose up here to have a Linux LTS, then obviously you need this one here. But open it up and you'll see what it means. So you don't need to select it here. We've made sure that if you want this one, if you select that one, that Linux LTS, that's the same one as here, is installed. But that's important. Get the packages in just for LTS. All right. So you decide CUDA Toolkit, yes, no. Intel Ucode, that's for your CPU. If you have an Intel CPU or an AMD CPU, you can decide to install it as well. This is a minimal ISO, meaning you don't even have sound, you don't have network connection, you don't have printing, Samba, nothing really. So if you want to have any of these guys, just select them. You can take a look at the packages that it involves, but basically that's what we're going to install on your system, right? Then we go for next, and we install login. So when you boot up into an operating system, often you're seeing a greeter, right? Let's call it a greeter. Display manager, login manager, has different names. It greets you, it says, oh, login, put your password in. That's this one. You have 4 choices, but they all matter, and they all are important in the sense that you should know some things about them. LightAM is the one we use. Why? Because it's really is an awesome tool. It works on all the desktops, and there are differences between these 4. SDDM is actually built for KDE or Plasma, right? So it works better that way. Now LightAM is themed and tweaked. We have our own LightAM greeter. It's nice. This is a standard one. It will look not so nice, but it's your choice, and later on in Plasma you can just select a new one, right? There's so many out there. So it's a choice here. But this one, for instance, GDM is created for GNOME. If you select this one, a lot of GNOME packages come in. So of course we don't want GNOME packages if you want to go for a BSP WM only, right? So it all matters, and this is then for LXDE or LXQt to have a login manager. So you decide what to take. Normally I would always select login manager. You need to select this. This one I can skip, right? If you don't want to have Bluetooth, you don't want to have printing, doesn't matter. You can install it later on. But of course, it's easier here. It's just a click away. Next. LightDM is needed. We need a greeter, a display manager, okay? And then you're up to 15 choices, right? What do you want to try out? Gonna install in Awesome, ESP.WM, and so on. Just select what you want, and you see the list that comes with it. And we've tried to make it complete, but it's not gonna be the ArcoLinuxB feeling. That's not the idea. ArcoLinuxD is actually trying to make a minimal installation, and actually best tip I could give you is install something without ArcoLinux stuff, right? This one, like so, is actually an ArcoLinux feel. ArcoLinuxD is a minimal ISO. It has the feeling of an ArcoLinux installation. It goes graphical. You just go and install packages like you normally would. This is sudo pacman -s xfc4, sudo pacman -s xfc4 goodies when you're in phase 5 ArcoLinux. That's basically what we do. So we have here, when you just select these guys, an ArcoLinux feel, and the same goes for others like GNOME or something like it. Just omit ArcoLinux. But if you say, no, I like the look of ArcoLinux, yeah, then you just keep these guys, right? All in. Well, it doesn't matter what we install. So next, then we go for, again, if you've watched the ArcoLinux installation already, then you see a long list of all the toys from our toy store, the Linux toy store. This is not ArcoLinux stuff. This is not even, this is Linux applications, right? Well, it's ArcoLinux, I mean, in the sense that it comes from the ArcoLinux servers or from the AUR package build. So we've built the package for you, and it's now on our ArcoLinux repo. But basically, these packages are for everybody, right? So it's just Linux packages that we now can install with a click. Now, this one is a little bit special. We've made TeamViewer to just work out of the box, otherwise it's so technical. So we've made a nice package build, poof, and it installs and you can connect to somebody else. You check out teamviewer.com.org, I don't know. I'm thinking about these guys here. We have not seen them, I think yet. Development, here they are. So code and Visual Studio Code says here it's gonna conflict. So if you want to code with either of them, just don't select two of them. Doesn't matter, Calamares will just run and your system is installed, so no issue there. But you'll see just one of the two is installed. So maybe better that I teach you, give you the knowledge, and hence a little button there that says those guys will conflict, or you need to choose between those guys. All right. Next. Offices, there are lots of offices there, and lots of people like this one or that one and so on. So here is another sentence: LibreOffice, fresh or still. So either it's the beta version or the stable version, but choose, right? Both of them is not possible. One of them will be installed, not two of them. Next, all stuff. If you're wondering why I'm not explaining any of these things, it's all in other videos. I have made several videos in preparation of this installation. Go and have a look. What are all these applications? Next, internet, all internet stuff. And Firefox gets a Locale. So if you install Calamares, if you use Calamares in German, you'll get a Firefox in German. That's what this Locale means. And I think it's also here in the LibreOffice somewhere. We have set that as well. So your spelling is in German and LibreOffice is in German. Little tricks. So check it out, all fun stuff and all stuff to have more cursors and more themes and icons and so on. Again, we're at the icons, X cursor breeze, that one, and that one will collide, but maybe you like this one, right? So you choose. It's gonna conflict. It's not gonna crash again, but it will just choose one of the two. It's gonna choose the first one, I think, and then the second one will not. Will get a conflict and will just pass. Next one, gaming. Right, some games. Now, mind you, there are some big guys in here. Sauerbraten, take a look in your system at the moment. 1 gigabyte, 1 gigabyte, right? So I don't know how your volume is for internet usage, but mind that these things can be huge. Next, we have lots of utilities, new things in here that you can check out. And here's another conflict, Synapse. So this one, if you know what Synapse already is, well, it's choose either Catfish or Synapse, right? So maybe it's better to do it later on after you reboot, and then you say, okay, let's install Synapse, and you'll see Pacman asking you questions. Do I need to remove this or that? That's okay. Lots of accessories and conkeys. If you want to have conkeys, yes, no. Lots of file managers to choose from. Maybe you like Nemo, I do, and so on. Fonts are here. Git software is here as well. I'm using a lot of Git software these days, trying it out. Graphic stuff, fun stuff. These are the fun stuff we have. There's an article on ArcoLinux.com about 20 fun applications in terminal. Privacy stuff. Lots of terminals you choose from. Maybe you don't like Termite. USB, I recommend Etcher. Please do it. Tell everybody if they have a problem burning the ISO, use Etcher. It's gonna work. It's a great response for Windows. It's a great response for Mac, and it's a great response for Linux. They all gonna work. And there are three USB burners. This one is ours. Binstick Kit is the one that we use. And this one is if you want to burn the Windows ISO on a USB on Linux. And this already is a choice again, VirtualBox. Either you've chosen a Linux kernel or Linux LTS, and it matters because you need to install different packages if you do, right? Linux LTS, that's important. And ZSH if you like to have a different kind of shell, bash or ZSH. And now we're next, and this is a long bunch. This is for us, ArcoLinux developers. The developers would like to have a click. So we install 200 times maybe an ISO, all these 18 ISOs, 18 times on VirtualBox, 18 times on SSD, that's already 36, and again and again and again every version, right? So with just one click, we have the things we need to develop. A browser, text editor, take some images here, compare, search stuff, tune our file manager with all its tweaks, and of course communicate with each other via Telegram and Discord. But you can use it as well. Even if you've selected in prior, it will be just reinstalled again. So that won't take nothing really, because everything is coming from our repos. Next, Brussels, correct. If not correct, select. If you want to change here system languages, you can change here as well. Normally everything is fine. I don't touch anything here. And then next, that's important to select a proper keyboard. Next, erase. And here we have 6 choices. You see 3, right? But I see 6 because you can encrypt as well. So you can choose 3 of them, those, and then encrypt as well. Which leaves us with 6 choices. This is VirtualBox. I don't very much care about swap. 16 GB of RAM, 8 for VirtualBox. No swap needed. But you choose what you want to have, because if you want to hibernate your system, then you need more space. At least a little bit more than, well, 10% if you see right, 8.8 GB you see. So 10% more than your actual memory. All right, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do no swap, and then next. They want to know my name. You can name anything, this any way you like, and a password. Keep it simple, guys. Log in automatically without asking for password. Yes, no. Your choice. Use the same password for administrator account. Your choice. And then we go for next. And then we wait, we sit it out. And depending how much you've selected, it will download a lot of stuff from the internet. And that's in phase around 80%, 70, 80%, it's around here. That's gonna download all the packages you've selected. Now, if I recollect correctly, I think I selected LightYAM and GNOME, and then did I select the development? I'm not sure anymore. We'll see. And we wait for the installation. Let's pause the video here. At this point in time, we are at the installed packages, so 79, 80%, it's around there. Before I forget, there is a caveat in this version of Calamares. Sometimes, like 5%, 10% of the time of our installations, it ends in installation failed, which is of course not a nice thing to read. It's at the very end, so everything is installed already and your system is working, but it wants to unmount something, and at that particular point in time is unsuccessful in unmounting. So if you see that particular image, that's okay, that's cool. You just reboot, pull out your USB, and it will be installed. I've been told that the next Calamares does not have that anymore. So I must have selected something because he's installing packages. Well, LightYAM and GNOME, right? But don't know if it did anything more than that. While he's doing his job, maybe he can repeat. I think I've already told it, but let's assume you've just killed Calamares, right? You just close it because you close this maybe. So everything can be selected from applications here. Go to install ArcoLinux, ArcoLinux debugging, but that's more for developers. And you can have a look at ArcoLinux Tweak Tool here, the welcome app. So this is the welcome app. It says up here, right? So you can always open up the applications that way again. Pausing again. Don't think that this thing is crashing, because it takes a really long time for everything to install. And best advice is walk away because it will stay a long time on 80% or 81, and then suddenly up there he is. So the slider, the timing in the slider is there a little bit off. Doesn't matter. As long as it installs, we are happy with our free Calamares installer. We're booting up, and then you will notice this little thing, and that's why I'm recording this as well, of course. What now? Is this our installation? Well, this is meant to be a minimal installation. ArcoLinux, well, starts more or less like this, but this time I have already an account. So I can say that my name is Eric, and that's my password. And I'm logging in. And there are 3 lines you should know. And basically, guys, let me go and show you a page. So I've opened ArcoLinux info, downloads, download documents, cheat sheet. We have a cheat sheet. It says what to do on the cheat sheet. So print it out. I have printed it out. It's lying here next to my computers, right? It says down at the bottom, how do you get things going? Well, first of all, it all depends what you selected in the software, because our profiles, our elements are in etc/skel. This is not your regular installation. This is ArcoLinuxD. So the info, the configs, and certainly for the tiling window managers, the configs are in etc/skel. So you need to get them out of there. Skel is exactly what that does. It copy pastes everything over. So the GNOME stuff, because I selected GNOME stuff, the GNOME configuration is now in home directory, my home directory. That's one. Secondly, is I need to activate something, because this is nice and black and all that, but we need to activate the choice we've done. We have chosen either, so enable either LightYAM, which was my choice, right? We can also do GDM, we can also do LXDM, and we can also do SDDM. As simple as that. Few letters you need to remember. And in my case, it's on the cheat sheet. It says sudo systemctl enable LightYAM. That's enough. You can add service behind it, but he knows. He knows that I mean the .service thing. And you need to see that line, created sim link, and now he knows, aha, I need to have a display manager. Oh, okay. And now we need to reboot, and rebooting is actually sudo reboot. Since we don't want to type that much, SR, sudo reboot. And you are rebooting, that's it. You're up and running. You have now a GNOME or a BSPWM or a Plasma or anything of our 15 desktops. And then you play along with the settings, be a Sherlock Holmes about it and figure out what you're missing, what you can do, and what you like, what you don't like, add stuff to it, and so on. And even add Ctrl-Alt-E and even add, for instance, another desktop to it with ArcoLinuxD tool. Have a look at it. You can do a lot of things. Some of the things are hidden, so depending on what desktop you are, it's smart, so it won't show things. But for instance, I can install Awesome with a simple button, and everything Awesome will be installed on your system, and we can use it. So it's super simple. You can start with a particular tool and then decide to actually go for another desktop and switch around. Now, installing is one thing, deleting is another thing. So deleting is not possible with the ArcoLinuxD tool, but we can have a look and log out to Awesome. All the GNOME stuff is here, and then Awesome. And here I'll leave you. So this is ArcoLinuxD, right? So it's so flexible. You choose whatever you like, whatever you want. ArcoLinux stuff, no ArcoLinux stuff, different desktops together. It's all possible. So have fun.